How many Bitcoins does it take to get some goddamn respect in this town?
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome week so far. Having a look at Bitcoin, down 0.68%. That's it. Throw in the towel. Pack your bags. We're going home. Not exactly. Let's have a look and see. Basically, Bitcoin has just been going up and up and up, almost like a staircase slowly. But yesterday, we had sort of a Bart Simpson pattern going on. It inverted, went up, but then we fell back down to basically the exact same levels we were at yesterday. So it's kind of been a boring 24 hours with the exception of that little tiny pump we had, right? Currently, you can see right here, we're not really putting in a lot of volatility over on futures. So I do want to talk about Bitcoin's price short term. I want to discuss whether or not the whole situation that was going on with the trade wars was actually just getting speculators to put their money into crypto rather than actually seeing these people turn to Bitcoin as a safe haven. Now, that's just a theory. I'm not saying that's what actually happened. Also want to talk about the fact that if we actually look at Tether, well, we haven't really had any USDT printed in the last month, and now we find out that the New York Supreme Court says that IFINX, which is the parent company of Bitfinex, does need to appease the New York Attorney General, and they're going to have to fork over those documents. So how is that going to affect crypto? Well, we're going to talk about that moving forward. We have a lot of stories. Obviously, Satoshi revealed himself again today, right? So we do have some conspiracies, but I'm going to keep it very short, very quick. If that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. So today is a rapid fire news and technical analysis day for crypto. So also, if you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed, well, you're definitely missing out. So that being said, also congratulations to yesterday's Ledger Nano S winner. Obviously, we do it again every single week. So all you have to do is drop a comment on literally any video and you are eligible. Now, Bitcoin dominance back up to 69.1%. Why are we seeing some of those profits that the altcoins were making now moving back into Bitcoin again? Well, let's talk about it. Let's see what is going on right here. Now, you do notice that Tether is down 0.15%. So it's not necessarily signaling that people are moving their funds from Bitcoin into stable coins, right? So what is happening right now in the background? Well, having a look, it's basically red across the board. There are a few gainers: Ethereum Classic, Icon, Digitex, Augur, Raven, Elf, Ardor, Stratus. Then we basically just go into the stable coins and then the red. Now, obviously, you see right here, Nothing is happening right now. Mild sells and neutrals across the board. However, you are noticing that the shorts are leaning, right, a little bit towards the bearish side today. So we're going to talk about that fear and greed index at 39. Now, here's the thing. Over here on the 4-hour chart, we finally got above the 200 moving average, and it's been providing support for about the last day. So short term, this is good. You can see we wicked down, touched it, right? And boom. Support provided. So we will take that. However, unfortunately, on the daily, we moved up above this 50 moving average. We stayed there for, literally just a couple hours, and now we closed yet again back below it, and we find ourselves once again stuck between these two moving averages. These are going to get closer and closer and closer as time continues, and it's definitely going to put more and more pressure on Bitcoin to make a massive move to either the upside or the downside, which I definitely think by this weekend, maybe even by Thursday, we are going to see a massive move in Bitcoin. Now, there are people that are calling for the bear flag. Well, you can see right here, we were stomped out by that resistance, so we did not have a breakout to the upside. Currently, we only have, less than 48 hours left basically in this flag before we come to the very, very end right here. Now, for the bears, right, if we do have a breakdown to the downside, well, I'm looking at about a $9,000 level. Okay, some people are calling for lower lows than that, but if we do continue to put in higher lows, then we might see ourselves come well above the $12,000 level and maybe even surpass this $12,326 level that we put in over here. Now, That would be pretty good, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm okay to go sideways and accumulate more Bitcoin. I'm in no rush. But at the same time, having a look at this, it does look like we may want to go higher because we have been putting in this sort of arc. You'll notice all the wicks down here, they don't go any lower than this. And currently we are starting to put in a bit of an uptrend right here. So having a look at that, like I said, you could also be looking at a breakout by August 25th, but signs are pointing to probably sooner. But I'll tell you what, if we do continue to go sideways, you are looking for an explosion of a move by the end of this month or beginning of September. Now, currently, we were staying above the EMA ribbon, but now we're back inside of it again. So guys, obviously, we need to maintain above this ribbon in order to get the bullish momentum. If we keep finding ourselves falling inside of it, like when we had this struggle right here, from August 10th to about August 13th, well, finally, Bitcoin just got tired and said, screw it, and we fell, right? So currently, we are struggling to maintain above the EMA ribbon. Now, having a look at some of these key resistance and supports, it's actually incredible how we are literally being supported by this $10,621 support over here on Market Cypher. The resistance to beat is $10,689 and maintain above that. So we're definitely in this extremely tight range where Bitcoin is going to have to make a decision, do or die, relatively soon. And we do know that as volume continues to decline, which I'm sure it is, I don't even have volume pulled up right now, but if I actually look at the volume, yeah, volume is clearly going down. I mean, compared to what we were seeing back here on August 14th, August 15th, I mean, look at this volume. It's not even a third of what we were putting in. So volume is decreasing. Bitcoin is coiling up. We are looking for an explosive move. Once again, if you do think we're going to go to the downside, well, I'm going to say that we're not going lower than $9,000 simply because that is what the not the EMA ribbon, the 21 exponential has been showing on the weekly. And like we said, not to sound like a broken record here, guys, but a trend is a trend, right? And we never fell below it during the entire 2017 bull market. So like I said, if you do believe we are in a bull market, we're just starting a bullish trend, then there's no reason why we should fall below it. In fact, basically, once we got above it, in my opinion, was the kickstart to the current trend. One thing I want to point out, though, remember how early we are in the cycle, okay? It is a little crazy right now. There is a lot of volatility. You can see Rect Capital said the previous bull market lasted 152 weeks. That's 1,064 days, almost 3 years. We are only about 20 weeks into the new bull market, and already Bitcoin hit $13,900, and altcoins haven't even started their new alt season cycle yet, okay? So it is still incredibly early. If anyone out there is like, man, I missed the boat, this boat is just starting to sail away. You have not missed the boat. Trust me, guys, okay? Also, do not forget we still have the Bitcoin halving event that's happening in about 9 months, right? 271 days. So don't forget what happens after that. I would be more than happy to accumulate sideways, even just go up slightly for the next 9 months until the halving event because, hey, you know what I mean? We know where this thing is going, and at some point, you're not going to be able to get it for these prices. So dollar cost averaging can be your best friend, but fundamentally speaking, as Max Kaiser says, price follows hash rate, and the hash rate chart continues its 9-year bull market. Now, I know some people out there got triggered, right? You said, no, price does not follow hash rate. Hash rate follows price. Well, it is a bit of a chicken came before the egg came before the chicken kind of thing, right? Like, it's difficult because if the price is going up, then you're going to see miners getting excited, turning on their machines and mining more Bitcoin. So in that sense, you would say that the, technically hash rate would follow the price, right? So we can argue it both ways, guys. I'm not really here to make an argument, but basically we are at an all-time high. That is something that cannot be argued. We put in 82.5 million terahashes. So this is pretty incredible. In fact, if I zoom out to the all-time, you'll see how crazy this looks on the chart. I mean, look at that. You see that above my head? That is absolutely nuts. So you can see that. That is great. Miners are turning on their machines. We are seeing the Bitcoin network basically be the most secure that it's ever been. And not to mention, you are seeing even some of these guys like these gold bugs out there. Or for example, you have veteran frontier market investor Mark Mobius, right? He suggests that cryptocurrencies are actually going to boost the price of gold. Now, he is much more of a gold fan, trust me. He's warming up to crypto. videos, okay? But he says you have all these currencies, new currencies coming into play. I call them psycho currencies because it's a matter of faith whether you believe in Bitcoin or any of the other cyber currencies. I think that with the rise of that, there's going to be a demand for real hard assets, and that includes gold. He also explained that he's deeply convinced that the recent changes in monetary policy will assist gold's rise. Gold's long-term prospect is up, 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 and the reason I say this is because the money supply is going up, 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 and I think you have to be buying at basically any level, frankly. Now, he's talking about gold. He's not necessarily talking about Bitcoin, but I do want to remind you guys, he did previously say, and this was on an interview, which I had a video out, he said there's definitely a desire among people around the world to be able to transfer money easily and confidentially. He says, I believe Bitcoin and other currencies of that type are going to be alive and well. So he's saying, he actually said he doesn't really understand crypto. He's an older dude, okay? You know how these guys get when they've been in the traditional markets for a while. But, just talking about that as well, yeah, I mean, he basically does see a future for cryptocurrencies. And I think the thing that really stood out to me is when he was basically saying, I see other currencies going, or dollar printing going up, 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 right? Quantitative easing, inflation, right? So where are you going to park your funds? Well, unlike gold, let me just make the quick difference right here. As Rhythm Trader said, he said $2 billion worth of Bitcoin are moved on average every single day using the network. No government, bank, or third party had to verify these transactions, nor could they have stopped any of them if they wanted to. That is the true power of Bitcoin. Actually, speaking about this one, I like this tweet by Wrecked Capital. I'm actually going to retweet that. It's a pretty cool one. So boom, retweeted. Okay, but anyway, that question that people were asking was it actually the Hong Kong protesters or all these other uncertainties around the trade situations, right? What we had seen with the yuan, like devaluing itself, right? Was all of that actually people moving their money into Bitcoin, or was that just speculators assuming that that was probably what they were gonna do, and that's why the price went up? Well, that was a really good question that was asked by Andrew Ross Sorkin over here to Jeremy Allaire, and I just wanted to play this clip super quick before we get into the rest of the video.
Is it appropriate to think that actually money did move out of China into Bitcoin, or that the price of Bitcoin moved higher on the perception or speculation that this is an example of how it could in the future, but maybe didn't in reality?
Yeah, I think it's likely a mixture of both, and it's obviously not something you can clearly measure at any given time, but it does seem like a mixture of both.
I just wanted to play that really quick. I know it really doesn't seem like a major clip to play, but I do think that's a good question. I mean, I want to ask you guys, do you honestly think that they were using it as a hedge, or do you think that it was just more speculation? Because there is another story, another conspiracy, but it's not even really a conspiracy. We do know what's been going on with Tether. We do know that Tether was only holding about 74% in their reserves. So for every dollar that, for every Tether that you were holding, essentially, it was only 74% backed, right? Well, yesterday, the New York Supreme Court ruled that the matter between the state's attorney general and iFinex can continue. They're the parent company of BitFinex. The ruling paves the path for the attorney general to continue its demands, which include forcing them to hand over documents. They have until October 10th to pony up. So here's the interesting thing. Modern Consensus points out, here's our chart of Bitcoin prices versus the 30-day moving average of Tether velocity, volume divided by the market cap. Draw your own conclusions. Essentially, what he's hinting at is that this is just one giant Tether bubble, and that all of this price is artificially being propped up by Tether, and it's probably going to collapse like a giant house of cards. Well, let's have a look at ourselves. Let's not just take other people's words for it, right? We have computers, we have eyes. Let's have a look. Well, anyone could basically simply come over here to CoinMarketCap, and you'll notice that Tether basically started printing around April 7th, which was interesting because that was only 6 days after Bitcoin started pumping, although you can actually see they were pumping slowly back here, but that's really where it started to ramp up. And you could see from there, have a look, you could just watch it. We were around 2 billion. We just kept pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, and finally Tether hit 3 billion, and we continued to pump and continued to pump. And then right around $4 billion, okay, $4.5 billion, Tether sort of started to slow down and then kind of halted the printing of Tether. Well, if we have a look at the range of dates to which this Tether printing sort of slowed down, where we had this sort of final pop right here on July 25th, where we had 4,500,000,000. Well, if we look at that date, July 25th, and we come over here, well, the all-time high, or not the all-time high, but the yearly high that we put in this year was $13,881, and basically the 3 days before was when Tether stopped printing. In fact, just the day before was when we had the 4 billion market cap. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, literally Tether stops printing right here. We pump up and then we just continue on a downwards trend basically for the next month. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that this is directly connected to Tether? Let me know, guys. Let me know. Moving on, kind of good news. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but the handle @Bitcoin on Twitter, basically, we don't really know who owns this, but it was clearly owned by somebody who was a Bitcoin Cash advocate, because even though it was @Bitcoin, all of the tweets, including tweets that would regularly bash Bitcoin for being too slow and clunky and not Satoshi's vision, well, they've all been deleted. In fact, the things, look, I have no proof of this, but I think the owner of Bitcoin must have had a romantic relationship with Roger Ver and recently broke up with Roger. That's the only thing that can explain why Bitcoin stopped supporting BCH. Now, guys, that's obviously a direct joke to Roger Ver, saying that he thought that the CEO of Twitter was in a romantic relationship with Elizabeth Stark. In fact, of the Lightning Labs. In fact, when you click on it, if I pull it up, you can actually see Elizabeth Stark said, "Welp, got him." Got it. So that is good to see that. So it looks like somebody must have switched hands, and now it is in a pro Bitcoin holder, which is good because now we have Bitcoin not misleading people. So like Whale Panda said, while I'm happy that all the confusing Bitcoin Cash propaganda has been deleted from the @Bitcoin handle, I think that one person having control over an account like this is always a risk, right? The whole BCH is BTC narrative confused a lot of people and made a lot of people lose money. So what do you think? Do you think Jack Dorsey should just get rid of the Bitcoin handle and no one can own Bitcoin? Or are you cool with this anonymous individual owning Bitcoin? At least now they're actually talking about Bitcoin and not talking about Bitcoin Cash and not confusing people. So let me know what your thoughts are about that below. Speaking about Satoshi, though, looks like they decided to actually put parts 2 and 3 of the reveal all in one. At this point, I assume you've probably read this. I mean, this is going around everywhere. Do I think this is actually Satoshi? Honestly, at this point, not really. Honestly, I don't care. Really, I think the fact that Satoshi is anonymous is really what makes it such an awesome thing. The fact that you can't put a face to a currency. Also, I'm not sure how I feel about this guy being the creator of Bitcoin. Also, why is this such a terrible picture? It's like, yeah, this is the best picture they could find, guys. What is it, deep faked? So anyway, moving on, let's get on to some crypto news and let's get on out of here. I want to keep today's video short. So BitMEX is looking to block more users. So basically HDR Global Trading Limited, BitMEX parent's company, has added Bermuda, Hong Kong, and Seychelles to the list of the total trade restrictions. The 3 jurisdictions joined the US, Quebec, Cuba, Crimea, Sevastopol, Iran, Syria, North Korea, and Sudan. They say the increased involvement of regulators with all the major players in the industry is not only to be expected, it is to be welcome. It is our mission of good regulators to ensure that the honest citizens are not being cheated. For this reason, we've decided to restrict access to BitMEX for users in the jurisdictions in which HDR affiliated employees and offices are located. But yeah, they're just geo-blocking. Right? So you can basically just do it with a VPN. But guys, let's be real. Come on. Everybody's using Bybit. That's where everyone's trading. Bybit doesn't have those crazy liquidation wicks, okay? The liquidity is increasing day by day, and let's be honest, the user experience is pretty incredible. So yeah, I mean, I don't use BitMEX. I don't have any plan on using BitMEX. Bybit is definitely the way to go. If you guys haven't tried out Bybit, check it out. It's pretty cool. Be safe. Don't over leverage. Don't be an idiot, okay? 3x, 5x max if you're just beginning. If you haven't checked out, I did do a tutorial on it. I will drop it above. Also, I do have links below. If you use my link, by the way, you do get $50 $55 plus you get $10 extra. So I think it's $65 total if you want to do the thing where you tweet it out. Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything extra, helps the channel out. But that being said, before we go, I want to end on this tweet. Time equals currency of life. Be grateful to people who spend their time on you, not dollars, which is why thank you so much to everybody that's been coming back to the channel and watching. I realize that, you watching these videos, this is your time. I do appreciate it. Trust me, okay? We need money to exchange the products of our time. Best money is that which is most similar to time. The key property of time is scarcity. The only thing that shares this quality is Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin. Yes, that was a little extreme on that one, but I did think this video was funny. I didn't use it for an intro, but it was still kind of funny. It shows, it's basically Bitcoiners versus altcoiners. But guys, look at this bird right here. Look at this. Did you see that? I didn't see it the first time, but the other bird actually gets grabbed by a bird, and I thought it was interesting. Look, he actually gets grabbed. Look, nope. So I don't know. I thought that was funny. It wasn't really funny enough for an intro, but just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much once again for coming back to the channel. Obviously, I do appreciate everyone supporting the channel, using any of the referral links below, picking yourself up a Ledger Nano S, signing up for Bybit, picking yourself up an unstoppable domain. Anything helps, but I do not require it because all I really want is for you to just enjoy yourself, watch these videos, do your own due diligence. Obviously don't listen to anybody on the internet, even just me, guys. I'm just a guy. I'm not perfect. I don't make 100% accurate calls all the time. But that being said, we are trying to build this space together and grow together. And I think we all know where we're going, which is to the moon. But currently, it looks like we are going